Ladies and gentlemen, unless you've lived under a giant, mossy, sticky brown rock for the past few days, you'll have noticed that there were elections that were held in Germany, and that these elections are somewhat noteworthy. Angela Merkel, once the coalition negotiations come to an end, will no longer be Chancellor of the country. Now, whether you like Angela Merkel or not, you can't deny that she has been a major political player for quite some time. I was still just a teenager when Angela Merkel took office, and to be honest, I don't really remember any of her predecessors properly. I don't recall anybody else really at the helm of Europe's most populous country and its most powerful economy. Let's just have a quick overview of her background. Now, everybody knows that Angela Merkel's family were one of the few, I imagine, who moved from the west of Germany to the east of Germany. They did this for professional reasons. Her father received a job in the east. And this happened before the erection of the Berlin Wall. In 1989, when the wall fell, reportedly, Angela Merkel was in a sauna with her friends, and she wasn't too fussed about the occurrence. Reportedly, she went and had some Feirabend beers with her mates and didn't go to witness this historic event firsthand. Now that sounds a bit odd, and indeed it is a little bit odd, but it also in a way speaks to her reserved, hesitant nature. Indeed, in German, there is a verb called Merkeln, and when man merkelt, it means that one holds back, hesitates, and makes a decision rather than takes a decision, so to say. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, Angela Merkel became a member of parliament in the new reunified German Bundestag. In 1991, she became deputy leader of the party that she joined, the CDU-CSU. She became what many people referred to her as Helmut Kohl's protege. But it didn't take long for Miss Merkel to not just bite the hand that fed her, but to rip the feeder's arm out of his socket and become the feeder herself, becoming the party's leader after their defeat in the 1998 election. Pressure was placed on Helmut Kohl to step down. This pressure being placed in large part by Angela Merkel herself. When she took over the reins of the party, she not just became the first female leader of the CDU-CSU, but the first female leader of any major party in German history. In 2005, Angela Merkel became Chancellor of Germany. And she led her party to three more successful election campaigns and led three more governments. When Merkel took office, unemployment stood at 11.3%, and GDP had been stagnating for almost a decade. Today, unemployment is at 5.6%, despite the pandemic, which of course had a negative effect on the rates. Angela Merkel's prowess extends way beyond our unemployment figures. Angela Merkel impressively managed a series of crises during her tenure. The financial crisis of 2008 and the ensuing European sovereign debt crisis, the annexation of Crimea, the refugee crisis of 2015-2016, Brexit, COVID-19, and in a way, Angela Merkel has been defined by these crises and her management of them. Particularly the refugee crisis. and the European sovereign debt crisis, the latter leading to significant overhauls in European monetary policy. Mutti, which translates to mammy or mummy or mommy, depending on your use of English, is widely respected across the world. But she's not so unreservedly admired by everybody in Germany. She does enjoy enviable approval ratings, that is true, but I was living in Berlin during the refugee crisis, for example, and I can tell you firsthand that a number of people were not satisfied at all by the way in which she managed the crisis. And I spent a few weeks in Germany this summer, once again. I cycled from Hamburg down along the Elbe, through Magdeburg, Leipzig, and up to Berlin. And curiously, given her origins, the further east I travelled, the less loved she seemed to be. That's curious for an Irish person. I don't know about everybody else, but politics at home tend to be somewhat tribal. In any case, Angela Merkel is going to leave behind a stellar legacy. I'm sure she will be remembered very fondly in her home country. And for those of us who don't want to see the back of her, there is some consolation, because coalition negotiations in Germany tend to drag on and on and on for months. So we still have plenty of time to appreciate dear Mutti. Thank you very much.